Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to do another review. And these are the odd numbers, but I'm gonna select a few. So, like for number 1, I did tell you in class that you want to write it in interval notation. So in this case, it says find the domain. And when we say domain, we're looking for the set of x values, and range is a set of y values. So you know that we have this asymptote that is right here, that is going through 4. So the domain is going to be from 4, not including 4, comma, and we know that the domain starts here and it's going to go on forever towards positive infinity. That's the domain. The range is, it appears to be starting at 0, so I'm going to put 0, 0, comma, and the range is a set of all y values. So we know that y is going to be at 0, and it's going to go all the way up to infinity. So it's 0 to infinity. So the domain is all the numbers starting at right after 4 all the way to positive infinity, and the range is the lowest y value is 0, and it goes up to positive infinity. Write the domain and the range of the function -3 parentheses x plus 1 squared plus 3. This is a parabola, and you know that this is opening downwards, and we know that domain starts way to the left, which is negative infinity, and it goes to positive infinity. So domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. The range, on the other hand, has a highest point, and we know that it's going to reach a highest point of 3, y equals 3. We know that the lowest point is negative infinity. So the range is from the lowest y value, which is negative infinity, to the highest y value, which is 4. So it goes from negative infinity, and what does that mean? It's going to include all the numbers that are less than 4 in the range. And the domain, it's all real numbers. Number 7, it says to find the inverse. Remember that f of x, you're going to replace with the y. Y equals 5 over 6 x plus 10. So to find the inverse, you know that the y and x variables are going to switch. So you have x equals 5 over 6y plus 10. And then at this point, you're going to use algebra to solve for y. So to solve for y, you've got to undo the process of adding 10. So you're going to subtract 10 from the right side. You're going to subtract 10 from the left side. So what do you have? You have x minus 10 equals 5, 6y. Now, you know that you have a fraction 5 over 6. So you probably want to multiply by the reciprocal, 6 over 5. 6 over 5. So 6 divided by 6, that's 1. 5 divided by 5, that's y. Remember that 5 times 6 is 30, 6 times 5 is 30, so 30 divided by 30 is 1. And this one is going to be 6 fifths x minus 6 times 10 is 60 over 5. So you know you're going to have 6x over 5 minus 12 equals y. And since you want to find the inverse, the correct notation or the correct symbol, this will be the correct symbol. That's the inverse of f. So just to review, just so you know what you have to do, when it says find the inverse, you're going to switch the y and x variables. So you switch these two. And then here you're going to solve for y. So you're going to solve for y. So if you're adding 10, you're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And then you are going to multiply by the reciprocal. Why? Because 5 times 6 is 30, 6 times 5 is 30, so that's 1, so you're left with y. Here you're going to apply the distributive property, 6 fifths x times 6 fifths times 10. So you have 6 fifths x minus 60 over 5, which is 12. So the inverse of f is going to be 6x over 5 minus 12. What is the sum of the solutions? And we have 3 absolute value, 2x minus 5 minus 4 equals -1. So you want to have the absolute value by itself. So you're going to add 4 to both sides. So you have 3 times the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. The next thing that you want to do is divide by 3. So you have 2x minus 5 equals 3 divided by 3 is 1. And you do have an absolute value. And remember, in the absolute value, you can either have a positive or negative answer. So you have 2x minus 5 equals 1. 2x minus 5 equals negative 1. You're going to solve for each equation. So you have 5, and then you have 5 here. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so you have 2x equals 6. Then you divide by 2, so x equals 3. You add 5 to both sides. So you have 2x equals 4 divided by 2, so x equals 2. Let me show you how you can do this in the graphing calculator. So what you want to do is you want to type in the left side of this equation. So you have 3, and right here's the button for absolute value, and you're going to type in 2x minus 5 minus 4. You see that? Now, that's the left side. You need the right side, because the right side is negative 1. So go to Menu, Function, and you're going to type in negative 1. And you see how we have 2 intersections? So you want to find those 2 intersections, so go to Math, Analyze Graph, Intersection. So here's the first intersection, which is 2, and here's the second intersection, which is 3. So the intersection is 2, and the intersection is 3, and that's what we got. Okay, I'm not sure if I explained this. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these here. What I did is I typed in 2, absolute value of 3x minus 2 minus 6 into the equation editor. So here's the first equation. And then the second equation was y equals negative 4. And then what I did next is I found the intersection. And the intersection of the 2 is 0.33 and 1. So to add them up, it's going to be 1 and 1/3. That's why the answer was B. Now, for 17, let's say you want to do 17 in the equation editor, or you want to use it in the calculator. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use Desmos. So I'll go to Desmos, and I'll minimize this here. I'll minimize this. So go to Desmos, and then definitely we're going to use the graphing calculator. So we're doing number 17, so you're going to type in y equals 9, absolute value of 2 minus 2x, and then press enter, and then there's a graph. And what I like about Desmos is you can move it around if you want to. And then the next equation is y equals 9x plus 7. And you notice that it does intersect. I think it intersects at 2 places. One of them is at 0.407, and the other one is at 2.778. So what you would do is you would just have to divide the answers here. So I'm assuming that's 16 over 21. Oh, so I'm doing number 17, so it's going to be 9 times the absolute value of 2 minus 2x, and then this is going to be 3x plus 2. So it's 0.762, which is that one right there. And the other one is 1.333, which is 1 and 1/3, which is 4/3. So your answer is C. So what you do is you type in the left and you type in the right, and then find the intersection. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to question number 23, and I'm trying to use Desmos here because I know most of you are using Desmos at home on your cell phone. So I'm going to go ahead and practice using it for a while. So it says 23, which of the following describes a translation? And what you want to do is you want to write both functions here. And I'm trying to get here situated. So you have y equals the absolute value of x. And then you want to compare it to y equals the absolute value of x plus 7 minus 2. And you notice that this graph will go to the left and go down twice. So your answer is B. It says it will translate 7 units to the left and 2 units down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do number 25. Determining how many units in which direction the function g of x minus 3. So I'm going to go ahead and type here x minus 3. And it says how many units and in which direction the function translates. So we know it's going to go to the left. So your answer is B. 25. It's the same question. 25. It's 3 units to the left. It says which function. Oh, what is a graph of the function f of x equals the absolute value of x plus 3. So we're going to go ahead and write x plus 3, x plus 3. How is the graph different from the parent function? Well, it's going to go to the left. It shifts to the left. So it won't be right, it won't go up, down, so it's going to be to the left. So it's okay. So this one we're going to write a parabola. It says use the vertex form to write an equation in parabola. We know that the vertex is 1, 2, 3, 3, negative 2. 3, negative 2. That's the vertex. It's right here. We know that the a value is going to be negative 1 because it's going to reflect over the x-axis. So you have y equals negative x. It's going to go to the left, so it's plus 3, and it's a parabola, so it's squared. Minus 2 means it's going to go down 2. It's not B, it's not A, and it's not D, so your answer is C. Okay, so we're gonna write the vertex form of this parabola. We know that the vertex, we're gonna write this parabola in vertex form, so we know that parabola has a vertex at negative 3, is it 2? Negative 3, 2? Nope, it's negative 3, 3, it goes up. Yeah, it's 2, 4, yes, 3. Okay, so it's going to be y equals, we know it's a negative, we know it's going to go to the left, so it's going to be x plus 3, and it's a parabola, so it's squared, plus 3. So we know that it's either going to be C, oh no, C is going to be wrong because there's no negative, so it's going to be A, B, or D. And we know that it's getting narrower, so it's going to be, it's being affected by a factor of 2. So you have, it's going to have to be A. So once again, if you want to check, you can use you can use Desmos. So you have y equals parentheses negative 2 parentheses x plus 3 squared plus 3. And so you know that this is negative 3, 3, and that's negative 3, 3. And of course, this is a little bit more than negative 1. And then right here we have negative 4.225. 0, negative 15, you don't see it, but it'd be down here. So, yeah. 43. It says, what are the focus and directrix of the parabola? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Desmos. Okay. So I have y equals 1/8 x squared. So the focus is 0, negative 2. So let me graph that. 0, 0, comma. Okay, well, we know that's wrong because the parabola always opens towards the focus. So that's okay. So let's graph negative 2, 0. Okay, that's wrong because it's right on the parabola. So let's graph 0, 2. Okay, that looks like it could be correct. And then we have y equals negative 2. Oh, yep, that's the answer. So in this case, the answer is B. Now, you want to check y equals negative 2, you're going to notice that, 2, 0. So 2, 0. So nope, that won't be it. So your answer is, okay, 45. You can use the Desmos application to figure out the answer to 45. It says, what are the focus and directrix of the parabola with the equation? So I have a 12 here, and this is negative. So now I'm going to go ahead and type in 0, comma, negative 3. Well, that could be it. So we have y equals 1. No, y equals 3. So the distance from here to here looks like the same distance, and it is. So we say that for 45, the answer is A. Now, I got to make sure that the other ones are wrong. So the next one is negative 3, 0. That's wrong. And 3, 0 would be on the other side. So that's wrong. And this one here is 0, 3. That's on the Directrix, so that can be it. So the answer is A. Okay, so it says, what is an equation of a parabola with a given vertex and focus? So the vertex is 5, 4, and we know that the focus is 8, 4, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph the parabolas. X equals 1 divided by 12. And then we have y minus 4 squared plus 5. Whoa. So this is the vertex. This is the focus. And that appears to be the answer. But let's check the other ones. So the other one is x equal 112 plus 4 minus 5. That can be it. The next one is x plus 4. Oh, this one was x minus 4. I mean, y minus 4. That can be A. Okay, so let me type this again. We have x equals 112, y minus 4 plus 5. Okay, that was the answer. That was it. Okay, B is 112. We have x, we have y, and this is x. And that's obviously going to be wrong. So your answer is, we'll do 48, just so we can make sure that we have it right. So what is the equation parabola at the given vertex and focus? So the vertex is -2, -2, 5, and the focus is -2, 6. And our equation is, let's try y. We have 1 over 1, which is just 1. I don't know why they would have 1 over 1, but let's try that. X squared. That won't be it. Plus 5. So y equals 1/4 x plus 2 squared. So that looks like that's going to be the answer, and that's D. Okay, I noticed on the test a lot of people missing these type of problems, so I'm going to go over it. So a lot of people were missing simplifying the expressions i's. So we have 1 minus 2i plus -2 minus i. Remember, these are complex numbers. So 1 minus 2 is -1. Minus 2i minus I is minus 3i. So yeah, there's two answers here. 68, 2 minus I plus 2 plus 2i. So you want to add the 2's. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative I plus 2i is going to be plus I. So 4 plus I. 69, 3 plus I minus 2 plus 2i. So 3 minus 2 is 1. I plus 2i. I plus 2i is 3i. So 1 plus 3i, I don't see it here. 69. Oh yeah, it's 8. And I was just seeing a lot of people miss these type of problems. So 1 minus 2, we have 1. Let me erase this here. So 70, we have 1 plus I minus 2. Now you have to distribute the negative, so negative is positive 2i. So it's -1 plus 3i. That's your answer, C. -3 plus 2i minus 2 plus 2i. You have to distribute the negative. So it's -5, and then that's 0. -5, unless I did something wrong. It's plus 4i. So your answer is A. So yeah, I saw a lot of kids missing simplifying expressions. Also, I saw some students missing this type of problem. And I'm wondering if the calculator can do I. And I'm gonna check right now. Maybe the calculator can do 73. So we're gonna have to use the FOIL method. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times -3, -15i. 5i times 5 plus 25. 5i times -3, -15i squared. Okay. We're multiplying. So when they're close to each other, that's multiplication. Now, the other examples, we were simplifying, we were adding or subtracting because there was a minus or a plus. So some of you are getting confused. So we have 25 plus 10i, because the difference of negative 15 and 25 is 10i. And then you have minus 15 times negative 1. One thing you have to remember, that I squared is equal to negative 1. So you have 25 plus 10i plus 15. 5 plus 5 is 30, so it's 40. So it's 40 plus 10i. And your answer will be in that form, or you will factor, in this case, of 10. And you have 4 plus I. Okay, we'll do one more before we wrap it up. 75. You're going to use the FOIL method. You see how the numbers are next to each other? So that means you're multiplying. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2i. 6i times 2 is 12i. 6i times negative 1 is negative 6i squared. So it's 4 plus 10i minus 6 times negative 1. So that's 4 plus 10i plus 6. So it's going to be 10 plus 10i. So you have 4, and then negative 2i plus 12i gives you 10i. You got to subtract those two. And then negative 6 times negative 1 gives you 6. 4 plus 6 gives you 10. So you have 10 plus 10i. And I think the answer is a factor of 10. So it's 1 plus I. Okay, 77 was something I did last time. And I said you can use Desmos to get the interval. Some of you were writing domain and range. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a solution. That means a set of answers for these inequalities. So for example, I did all of these, but I'll do it again. For example, I want this answer here, so I know that we have 2x squared minus 4x is there, right? And we know that we have 0, 0, and we have 2, 0, and these are the 2 points that are on the x-axis. Now, what I'm interested in the answer, that the x values that will give me y is less than 0. So that means the only x values that I'm interested are the ones that are going to make my y value 0, which are these here at the bottom. And we know that if we start with 0 and we go to 2, we know that the y value is going to be 0. And you can see that in the table. So I'm going to go from 0. You notice that 0, 0, 1. Let's say I use 0.5. See how it's negative? 0.6. You see how it's negative? 0.7, 0.8, and it's negative. 0.9, 1, 1.5, right? 1.6. They're all negatives. But once I reach 2, it's 0. And let's say I go to 2.1. Then it's positive, but that's not what I want. I want numbers. I want the x values that are going to fall, that are going to have a y value less than 0. So in this case, it's going to be all the numbers. And so we have a lot of numbers between 0 and 2. And that will be your answer. So the way you express your answer in interval notation, so you want to express this answer in interval notation, it's going to be all the numbers starting at 0 to 2. Go to 2. So it's from 0 to 2. That's going to be the answer. That's what's going to make the y values less than 0.